navigating the complexities of Medicare can be daunting, and older adults are confronted with making decisions regarding their health care coverage during the current Medicare open enrollment period. And joining us in the studio today with another episode of In the Legal Know is Vincent J. Russo to discuss the pros and cons of Medicare Advantage plans. Vincent, thank you so much for being here, as always. I think we're going to get right into it because we have a lot to cover, right?
Sure.
So first off, what does it mean for Medicare beneficiaries that they are in the Medicare open enrollment?
Okay, good question. So every year, Medicare recipients have to make a decision as to what type of plan they're going to be in the following year. So the open enrollment period started back in October 15th and runs to December 7th. So by December 7th, the Medicaid recipients need to make a choice as to what plan they're going to be in. So during this open enrollment period, they can go from original Medicare to Medicare Advantage. They can opt out of Medicare Advantage back into original Medicare. They can switch their plan, and they can also switch their Part D drug coverage plans. So very busy, a lot of TV commercials, a lot of confusion. And so we're gonna summarize some of the key points today.
Yeah, so, obviously this is a huge decision. So let's talk about the differences between what you said, original Medicare and Medicare Advantage.
Okay, so let's look at this structurally. And the way our system is set up, if you're in original Medicare, that covers Parts A and B. A is hospitals, B is doctors. If you're in an Advantage plan, it includes both Parts A and B. In an Advantage plan, it's through a private insurance company. So now, if I'm in original Medicare, I could pick any doctor or hospital that takes Medicare coverage anywhere in the United States. But if I'm in an Advantage plan, I may be limited on what doctors I can use and what referrals I may need, pre-approvals before I can go to a specialist. And then lastly, when you're in original Medicare, you can add Part D, or you can add supplemental coverage, which is referred to as Medigap insurance. In Part C, most of the plans will automatically cover Part D. And you will not need the supplemental, even though you could, you're going to get some extra benefits through that plan, but you wouldn't need the supplemental coverage. So it's confusing to pick one or the other. Interestingly, 54% of Medicare recipients are in the Medicare Advantage plan. So over 30 million older adults have to make a decision by December 7th. So my father's one of those people, and he was told his plan isn't going to be available next year. So now he has to pick a different plan. And he has to do that by December 7th.
All right, so are there differences in the actual coverage?
Yes, very important to look at coverages. So when you're trying to think about which plan should I be in, you have to know who your doctors are, and then you have to see if they're going to be covered inside a particular plan. All right, so original Medicare covers most medically necessary services and supplies in hospitals, doctors, and healthcare facilities. As I said, you can separately have the drug coverage in Part D, and in most cases, you don't need any prior approval. So it's pretty open-ended. When you're in Medicare Advantage, then it's like original Medicare, but there will be situations where you're going to be in network and you're going to be limited in the doctors you can use, or you could be in a plan that allows you to go in and out, but it may cost more money. The Medicare Advantage, though, will offer additional benefits, vision care, hearing, and dental services, so that's a real plus. Here again, most plans, Medicare Advantage plans, will cover the drug coverage. The Part D will be built into it. So that's another plus. Negative, you may need prior approvals. So you got to know who your doctors are. You got to know what drugs you're taking so you can decide, am I going to be covered in a particular Medicare Advantage plan, or which one's the best one for me?
Now, did you go over like the actual doctors and hospital choice?
Yeah, let's look at that. So we've got a little bit of a difference here. That's important. Original Medicare, like I said, anywhere in the United States, if they take Medicare, you're good. In most cases, you don't need a referral. But in that Advantage plan, once again, doctors and other providers you may be limited because you have to choose a doctor in network, or you have to choose a plan that allows you to go out in network, but then it would cost more money.
Yeah, and let's talk about the money, because everybody's worried about the cost, what this is going to cost.
Right. And so there are a lot of factors that have to be taken into account. You really want to go to a specialist to help you make decisions, because the cost of a plan may be impacted by your age, where you're living, and what your medical needs are, and so the type of plan you would choose. So in original Medicare, for Part B, there's a 20% coinsurance. So you're paying as you go along for that doctor visits and medical services. There's a monthly Part B premium, so you pay every month for the right to be in Part B. And there's no yearly limit on what you may pay out of pocket. So if you have a lot of medical expenses, you're going to keep paying throughout the year. Now, you could buy optional Medigap insurance, and that'll cover all the copays, but then that's another monthly payment. That's to be compared to a Medicare Advantage plan, where out-of-pocket costs may vary depending on the plan you pick, so you got to know what you're choosing. The monthly Part B premium is there, plus there could be some additional cost, but for many individuals, the coverages may be less, the overall cost may be less. There's a yearly limit on how much you go out of pocket. So if you have a lot of medical expenses, that may be an advantage to be in the Medicare Advantage plan. Medigap insurance is not available because you don't need it inside a Medicare Advantage plan.
So, something I'm running through my mind right now is kind of, you're talking about how there's so many commercials, and I'm sure people, maybe emails, phone calls. Not all of them might be, there could be scammers out there, right? So how do you protect yourself while you're trying to navigate all this?
Yeah, the scammers are out there. And so let's make a very important point. Never give your Medicare number, Social Security number, or any financial information to anyone you don't know. You cannot be solicited to purchase Medicare Advantage plan coverage. You have to initiate a call. So if someone's calling you, hang up. Hang up. Do not engage. You may give them information they'll use against you and commit a fraud. So you can report the fraud also to 1-800-MEDICARE, or you can visit medicare.gov/fraud.
All right, I'm going to give you final thought before we wrap this up.
Final thought is, A, you have to be proactive and make a decision. B, you really need to list all your doctors and drugs to see what plan's going to give you the best coverage, and then compare the cost, make a decision.
See, you make it sound so easy. You hold our hand, walk us through this. Vincent, always very nice having you on. Thank you so much.